Yeah. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Woke on advance, you don't even gotta mention. I swap it in the deck, you're not bullish enough. Traded in the size, you ain't trenching enough. Whoa, we do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Whoa, Shizzy and Yagobi. OnChain Revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity, flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain Revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gonna end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me, no way. OnChain Revolution, here to stay. Yeah, say I'm Sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah, Nicky's. Yeah, OnChain Revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain Revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recaps and I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action, chin. Yeah, send it to the deck. Sell it through the spec. Order knows the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to review. And the bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge. Look at the chart. OnChain.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin crypto ecosystem. What's up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live on the OnChain Hour, and today's show is going to be epic, guys, because yesterday we had day 2 of the Bitcoin conference. We had JD Vance on stage basically saying Bitcoin's going to the moon, right? We got some comments from him. We did have something happen last night with the tariffs. We're going to get into that because that's been driving the Bitcoin's price up and then back down. I don't know, but we got a lot of news to cover today. A lot of stuff going in there. Let me kind of break it down real quickly. So the Arch stuff is pretty big with Chintai. We're going to cover that. Chintai is an RWA product. We actually were a part of the Arch Summit yesterday, and we're going to break that down for you guys a little later. And then, Adam Back's predicting $1 million Bitcoin price in 5 years. And he said it's still early for real retail investors. Some NASDAQ stocks actually looking to put XRP as their treasury asset. Oh man, so much. But let's get right into it. Bring my partner here as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
What's up, man? How are you doing? And yesterday with the Arch conference, kind of give you your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I thought the Arch conference was amazing. I thought they did a great job. I would say 90% of the people that were on stage have been on our show, OnChain Revolution. So that was really cool to see just kind of how resilient these Bitcoin ecosystem builders are, right? A lot of them started back in the ordinals days and they're still here building, and they're about to release something really special coming up here. I think in July is what their target date is, or like time frame, right? But more than that, I think the segment that stuck out to me the most was the investor segment. DPI, Dan Held from Asymmetrical. And then you had, I think Pantera is also represented there. I think there was one more, and I apologize, I can't remember that last one. But the fact that they all have invested into this new ecosystem, and one of them solely just that's all their investment is going towards, made me excited to see what probably the future is going to bring with this ecosystem. At least some excitement to kick things off is what I'm expecting.
Yeah, 100%. It was Toby from Trio was there.
Oh,
as
there,
well.
that's who it was.
Yeah,
Toby,
yeah.
the guy
But
I've
yeah,
met.
yeah. But yeah, that was the one that really stood out to me too. Dan Held, when he said, you know, he looked at 200 Bitcoin companies that are building on layer 1 Bitcoin, and I was shocked that there was actually 200. He must have meant like, you know, 3 Bitcoin L2s as well, because that's the only way I can see 200 companies building right now. I mean, we're such a small niche right now. I think there might be like maybe 50 builders, including everyone on Arch, right? So really think that there's a lot of building and a lot of stuff to come. A lot more builders going to come here and start building as well. But yeah, that the Arch conference was definitely eye-opening. The only down that I didn't like was probably at the end when Nick was like, you know, in a couple months, Arch will be live in a couple months. And I was like, a few months. And I was like, just put a date on it, guys. Come on. But I do know that they are waiting for audits, and audits can take anywhere from, you know, a month to 2 months, 3 months, depending on which audit you're using and all that stuff. So I do understand that we are in this process of waiting for the audits to be done. And if anything needs to get fixed, that might delay something as well. So
Yeah, and with new innovative technology like what they're bringing to the table here in terms of
yeah,
like, yes, you do have like this customized SVM style tech stack, but also incorporating native Bitcoin's tech stack into it as well. You got to make sure that this is tested to the limits. The audit is like keep trying to poke holes as much as you can, because when you take it to mainnet, you can't have any issues. You know what I mean?
no,
So
no, cannot roll back the chain. So that's one thing.
oh,
But
some chains.
well, can't roll back Bitcoin, for
No,
instance.
no.
But yeah. All right. Let's jump to our main topic today. Crypto has a champion in the White House. Vice President JD Vance says we do not believe Bitcoin competes with the US dollar. And that's a big deal in the sense of that is what Trump said in 2020. He basically said that he doesn't like anything competing against the dollar, and Bitcoin competes against the dollar. So JD Vance came out and basically said, you know, we don't believe that anymore. And he said Bitcoin will become a strategically important asset for the United States. Vance says over 100 million Americans will soon own Bitcoin, and that he still owns a fair amount of Bitcoin today. So I don't know what a fair amount of Bitcoin is to him. I know he is one of the top 5 holders in Avalanche, right? But he's at the Bitcoin conference. He's not going to say that at the Bitcoin conference, right? But how do you feel about Vice President being there, one, and two, you know, the message that he was trying to send?
Yeah, I think most people already knew that, right? That this administration is pro Bitcoin and pro crypto. Yeah, I think we're just kind of all waiting for this amazing kind of just euphoric moment to where we can
Yeah.
all get rich based off of this kind of the administration backing it. And
Yeah.
for Bitcoin, I think a lot of Bitcoiners that have held for a while have experienced some of that, but then the rest of the space probably still waiting, right? A lot of them, obviously, if you played some of these coins right, you can go back like a year, you know, the Hyperliquids, the you know, probably the Taos, those type that just kind of had their one-off situation, but we haven't experienced this alt season that we've got in the previous cycle. So I think people are just waiting on that. So this is cool that, you know, that he came there and represented DC and the administration, but I think people want to now experience like this true kind of bull run that we have been waiting on, and we'll see when that kicks off.
Yeah, patience is key, right? I had a wake up moment this morning when somebody messaged me and they were like, "Yo, should I buy Doge?" And I was like, honestly, if you're gonna buy anything, maybe buy some dog or something. And they're like, where can I find that? It's not on Robinhood. And I was like, yeah, we're a long way away, right? We're a long way away from me being like, we'll download an X first wallet. I was like, dude, do I even go? Do I even do
Yeah.
this to myself at this point, right? So it's just like, so we're still ways away from people coming on chain, and that's okay. Like, we just got to be patient. We got to be, you know, I think that stuff is coming, but you know, it's a lot of people still don't get it yet.
Yeah,
So,
but I think the industry is moving in the right direction. They're trying to make
yeah,
on-chain easier. If you've noticed,
yeah,
that's the big
yeah,
objective, right? You got MoonPay, you got Apple Pay, you got Google Pay for on-chain presence now, right?
yeah,
Directly with Tokyo Wallet that you can do that, you know, and very soon with like cards and stuff as well. And so I think we're moving in the right direction. How long does it take for adoption to happen? We'll see. But then you have like Kraken. I think you got to probably for something like Dog and Runes, we got to wait for that Kraken listing, and then we'll see what Crack is about, because they announced that they're going to release this new application called Kraken, and we'll see if it's as addicting as Crack. That was probably a poor joke there, but anyhow, but that's the kind of stuff that will bring back that Robinhood experience. You know, the easy onboarding for on-chain.
100%, 100%. You are seeing places like Binance do this alpha program where they'll help you get tokens, right? That they choose is good, right? They'll help you get tokens. Maybe we see something like that from Kraken, and then something like that from Robinhood and Coinbase as well. But yeah, let's jump into some stuff here. I got a message, a post from Bob Loukas, and basically he's saying we should welcome a healthy little Bitcoin pullback to complete the first 60-day cycle. They aid in refueling a sustainable bull trend. And this is something that he's kind of been saying for a while here. And let me show my screen. All right, so this is what Bob Loukas is kind of saying here. He's saying that we need to kind of pull back here. And this actually goes into about the first week of June. It looks like about June 6th to June 8th that we have our bottom at 102 before he sees an upward trajectory of about 116 is kind of what he's calling for by, I want to say, end of June, right? Early July, end of June is kind of he's calling for 116, which is, you know, it's definitely something I think a lot of people are kind of looking for, right? But I think it's going to come sooner than that. But this isn't like Bob's first post about this, right? He had this post right here on May 14th, was basically saying the same thing. He's saying that we're going to hit. Bob Loukas has been on point, bro. Because he had 110. Dude, look at this. This is from May 14th, right? 110, 102.
Well, that looks like 96.
Oh yeah, 97.
97.
Yeah, 97. Yeah, and then this is 110. But we definitely hit that 110. Can we come down to here to this 96? But on this other chart that he revised,
which is fair.
Like he pulled it up a little bit.
Yeah, I think you're a little bit like. Doing a revision is fair, especially after what, like, we're talking about 15 days from where he posted that. So just saying probably not as low as he initially thought, but yeah, look, that definitely could happen. It seems we're in a bit of a downtrend the past couple of days, right? The infamous curse of the Bitcoin conference has seemed to be taking its place again, and so the daily chart looks like there's a trend of this will be the third day in red if it continues. But one thing I have noticed though is that Ethereum has pulled up and hit new local highs. Yesterday Ethereum hit it crossed over 2,700, got actually to 2,770. I thought it was going to hit 2,800, but then when Bitcoin pulled back, so did it. So it's going to be interesting to see if this is the chance that Ethereum will take and say, hey, look, I know we didn't hit our usual spring, late winter alt market trigger, but everything is different this year. The cycle, we're going to go with the summer this time and have a pleasant summer. We'll see.
Yeah, and to your point here, Miles Deutscher, someone I respect, he said market is a bit conflicting right now. He said BTC kind of looks like it's topped in the short term, and many alt setups look good. So he's saying the altcoins look really good right now in setup wise, and Bitcoin looks like it's topped, which could indicate alt season.
Yeah, and I think we've got to find a different name for it, because like for us, when we hear alt season, it's just like we're like, okay, the floodgates are open, getting all your degeneracy. But I don't think that we're going to experience that same thing. But I do think Ethereum crossing back over 4,000 is very important to kind of stabilize before we go into like a Q4 or something, right? Which could be more crazy then. But the reason why I say that is because like we've been calling for alt season since late January, really, right? And so now everybody that keeps calling for it, it's like a letdown. And so now I feel like some of the screaming for alt season it's not as aggressive as it was, I would say, like in the spring, because everybody's like, oh, the time is now. There are starting to see a little bit on my timeline for calling it, but it's not as like big, and that like everybody get ready for this crazy explosiveness. But I think it'd be okay to see Ethereum and some maybe of these blue chips to kind of get back to their previous highs and maybe settle there.
I've never really seen alt season as just big craziness. No, I always kind of looked at alt season as kind of Ethereum kind of against Bitcoin, right? Like I would consider alt season more of just like alts moving against Bitcoin. Like I that's kind of I always saw. Like this right here can be considered an alt season, right? This right here can be considered a mini alt season. This is going back to about April of 2021, right? This is the real alt season.
Yeah,
it's just up against Bitcoin, right? We haven't seen anything like that at all, like not even a little bit. Right here you can kind of say this is alt season, right? Like I don't think alt season needs to be this every single time.
When was that second
right?
When was that one right there?
This one was July of 2022.
That was a September weird time.
It was, but it was up against Bitcoin for sure.
Yeah.
And then if you want to take it back a little bit, like
17,
right? This to me is considered alt season, right? And then this is a second alt season. So for me, it's just ETH against Bitcoin is alt season. Alternative, because ETH is like the ultimate alternative against Bitcoin.
So I think you're right in the sense of if you compare 2017 to 2021, right? 2017, I think is more aligned of what you're saying. The altcoin market during that period also benefited. You had the Litecoins go up. You had the Doge, whatever, in 2017. Doge didn't really go up, but like those the ADAs or whatever was out then, right? And then, but in 2021, the difference was, and I think that this is a problem probably for perception in our space for the community, is that like we were in this weird post-COVID trying to get through like all this liquidity kind of back in. And so what happened with the 2021 alt season trigger was a bunch of new mid caps, micro caps, and people made a lot of money off of those if they got in early, and you could play them, and it just was on repeat, and then eventually it all just died at one time, right? And so I think people remember what they last experienced, right? And so what you're talking about, which I think is correct, and I think we go back to this natural kind of organic form of this alt season, is more like 2017, which Ethereum should still experience that thrust up against Bitcoin, but I don't think we get those crazy like mid caps and micro caps just going absolutely nuts. You're going to have to be more selective, but the blue chips and majors, I do think that they will have that 2017 burst up eventually. Not as high probably, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, 100% agree. I don't think we're going to get this this giant everything go together, but I do think we're going to move in sectors. Like you're going to see the AI sector move, then you're going to see the DeFi sector move, then you'll see like the RWA sector move, right? I feel like we're going to get that in a way, but we're not going to get that until ETH kind of breaks it needs to get
holding
back to
pattern
levels, right? It needs to kind of get back to this 0.1, 0.2 right now. We're 5x away from that, right? I feel like ETH needs to break out first, and this is something we've always said: ETH break out first, and then you'll see the alts really move. So I don't think you really see alts really start to move until we gotta get back to this 0.7. And right now I said we're 0.2, which basically means one ETH is 0.2 of a Bitcoin. So I think we kind of need to get kind of back up to here before we really see anything happen. ETH to me is that risk on indicator of whether it's a time to get risk on or not.
It's definitely the first indicator. But if you notice in the 2017 run and the 2021 run, there was still two peaks though. So the peak in 2017, I don't know when that started, the first big one. But typically there's always one in Q4 as well. So if you go back, to so that first one right there, that was when did that start?
So you would say the bottom was February 2017.
Okay. So we had that kind of late winter.
June 2017.
Okay, so that late winter leading up into the summer, and then you had a second one right there. That second one that started probably it went all the way to December, pretty much, or January.
December 2017.
Okay,
and then it peaked in February of 2018.
Okay, perfect. So we got something similar in 2021, actually, with Ethereum, at least, right? And then you go back to where we are now. We haven't even gotten the first one. That's the difference, right? We haven't even gotten the first one. So when does that first one come?
Right here.
Yeah. So when does that first one come? I don't know. I think it's due. I really think it's due. Ethereum not getting back to 4,000 at least, which is close to its previous all-time high, is really bearish in my opinion, because then when does the second peak happen, right? Because typically there is a peak that at least happens in December from both cycles. Or November for the second one, I would say is probably more November for 2021. But that's why I'm thinking this is an opportunity for ETH to really say, okay, Bitcoin's kind of going down. This is where we can kind of flip the ETH Bitcoin chart a bit. The dominance will come down and we can get back to at least that 4,000 range and then kind of hover and play around with new stuff, and we'll see.
Doesn't this look like kind of what we're seeing now? Look at this.
Little bit, but I don't want to get too excited.
No. Hold on. It looks.
I mean, the trend down definitely.
Look at that. Look at that. Right, and then look at what happened all the way back here. It's very similar, bro. It's like we're almost
in the 2017
right
period. Yeah,
it looks like we're kind of in that 2016 period of, you know.
Well, no. You have. I think it was if you go forward. If you go forward a little bit, no, the other
back
direction.
Here.
I think it was. Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah, it would be back here because we had the first upward. But like, I think like, I mean, technically, we're kind of like right here.
Let's fast forward even a little bit before the spring push up of 2017. Okay, so that pushed up into spring there. Okay, yep, you're right about that. So it was kind of the 2016, late 2016 period. But anyways, the problem right now is that a lot of people, they're trying to have these historical patterns and trends, and right now we just like a lot of people, because we missed our window in the spring of this year, late winter. Let's say late winter, January, February, and the spring for ETH to really have that opportunity. Both windows were missed. They're like, do we even get one now? You know what I mean? Because now they're like, okay, we have the summer, so it's almost kind of like the last shot here, in my opinion. For obviously, I still, even if we do miss this window, I think that Q4 would do something, but it's almost like the last shot for Ethereum to have that first peak up. If it's the biggest peak like it normally is, as we saw, it could be big though. Ethereum could actually hit new all-time high.
100%. I think we're going to see all-time high, and we're going to see it this year. I think we're in a delayed cycle. I think with everything that's happened with the tariffs and everything that's happened with the Trump pump and everything that's happened with, you know, even taking it back. I mean, I think the last administration really beat down crypto to almost a death point, honestly. And, you know, to kind of get back, it's going to take time, right? It's going to take awareness. And I think that, you know, in the next 6 months, we're eventually going to get into this cycle where it's going to be up only, and when it's up only, I think we're going to have a full year of just finally recognizing this as a real ecosystem, as a real type of area where people can invest in, right? Not just Bitcoin. I think that'll be an area that we're going to be entering. It's going to be the not just Bitcoin era, which is going to bring ETH, Avalanche, all the top ones, or Solana. We'll see.
Yes. We shall see.
All right, let's kind of get into the not so fun stuff, but we got to hit on it because it does affect our markets. U.S. federal court blocks President Trump's Liberation Day tariffs from taking effect. It rules that President overstepped his constitutional authority by unilaterally imposing important duties on countries with trade surpluses against the United States. President Trump then files an appeal after the federal court blocked the tariff. And then this morning, White House advisor Hassett says judge's decision on tariffs will be overturned. This is going to the Supreme Court, it looks like. But, you know, the tariffs were the reason why we were down only since January. And we're just kind of getting out of that. But this is kind of, what do you think about all this?
It's uncertainty. And the markets hate uncertainty, right? And so I hate this stuff. I just want it to go away. And just at this point, I'm like, all right, let's just, I don't know, man. It's frustrating. I'm tired of talking about it. I just want there to be a system. Then, you know, one thing I will say is that the previous administration, they were very against you know, crypto and stuff, but crypto still existed and was able to continually be successful. And there was like a pattern still. There was like, you know, but Bitcoin still did its thing, Ethereum still did its thing. And so now it's almost like the institutions have come. It's great for Bitcoin's price action, but then the rest of the space is kind of in limbo right now. Like, you know, what happens? Are we in risk on? Is it truly based on the liquidity cycle? Because that's what Raoul Paul said yesterday at the conference, which he has a great point. If you look at M2 money supply, it does match up with it. But, you know, it seems like there's this big kind of hesitancy to unleash the Kraken. No pun intended, actually, here. But what I'm saying is just, you know, let things go, let things fly, you know, but we'll see if that changes. And if it truly is based on liquidity, then it will change.
We just kind of need Trump to step back, like not be so Trump.
I don't know.
But yeah, I don't think we need to go this hard
Yeah.
as early in his administration.
Well, I'll say this though, like the 2017 term that he was in, that 2016 to 2020, he was not bullish on Bitcoin and crypto. He's actually against it, kind of, because yeah. So, but 2017 still had the Ethereum push up, and it still had all that stuff. So,
yeah,
you know, maybe we're over analyzing his. You know, and maybe it just does have to do with global liquidity, and maybe it was just late to get to, you know, being released. And we'll see if it continually gets released, if it continually affects the prices, and eventually we would think that it will kind of unleash the alt market. We'll see.
Well, to your point, you know, so basically we need global money supply to go up, right? But you said, you know, we're in an area of uncertainty. So the money supply is going up, but we're still uncertain about where to put that money. And I think that's the biggest problem, right? We need people to be certain about where to put that money, which is going to be potentially Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then more alts, and then we kind of get into things. So yeah, so that's the two things affecting us. Yeah, we're seeing global money supply go up, but we're seeing uncertainty kind of stay where it's at. We need to kind of get into an area where we're certain that this money needs to get put to work, right?
Because, just buy crypto, everybody.
Yeah, well, or anything really, because all assets really go up in an area when money supply goes up. We've seen that in 2021. So this is not really a part of you know, anything, but that does suck. Elon Musk has left the Trump administration, ending his role leading the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, after criticizing a major spending bill. So the major spending bill has not been seen yet in the sense of that new money being printed, but there's $3 trillion potentially about to enter the global money supply, and that money is coming from the president who installed Elon to cut Doge, and he's like, what am I doing? Like, why? What am I doing? And then Trump's saying, you know, it's you know, it's I guess he's just blaming it all on politics, but whatever.
Yeah, there's it's look, I'm sure there's a lot of complicated bureaucratic and things behind the curtain that we don't know about, powers to be, that we'll never know who's pulling those kind of strings. And unfortunately, they will seem to have the last say, right? And you got to do a little give and take. I'm not hearing a lot of great things about this bill. I'm sure there has to be some of this, you know, liquidity that, or this, you know, money that's in this bill that they're looking to pump into the markets. Because I think at the end of the day, Trump likes he wants his legacy to be looked at as like, he was great. You know, he did this amazing change of everything. And what, out of all politics, there's one thing that has always stayed consistent. It's money. When you touch people's pocketbooks, good or bad, they'll either turn on you like a dime on a dime, or they'll be your biggest supporter. And I think he knows that. And so I think he's trying to pump these markets. That's my personal opinion, but I think he wants to pump the stock markets, the crypto markets, and it takes money to do that. So we'll see.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, you know, his son here says everyone in the world wants Bitcoin. Eric Trump says everybody is buying Bitcoin. 0.1 BTC is going to be worth an absolute fortune. This is from Eric Trump. This is Donald Trump's oldest son, right? So Donald Trump's oldest son. So yeah, I mean, maybe that's what this big beautiful bill is for. He needs to pump his crypto bags. I'm down for it. I'm here for it. But moving along here, 21 shares follows for a spot Dogecoin ETF. And then the U.S. SEC delays decision on grayscale spot ETFs for Avalanche and ADA. Review date set for July 15th. So there is a bunch of people now saying that July 15th is a very important day for altcoin ETFs. There's going to be a ton set to review between the 1st of July and the 15th of July. And this could be the day where you see 7 to 15 ETFs get passed, the same way you kind of saw Bitcoin in January of 2023. Right. So that's, or 2024. So you might be seeing that same exact thing here on July 15th. So July 15th could be the day we get ADA, we get Doge, we get Solana, AVAX, XRP, ETFs all on the same day.
And it's a catalyst that people have been talking about, right? So that's something that can help set things off as well.
Yeah, it's gonna be huge. So remember we were talking about USDC going public, right?
Mhm.
And they had $20 billion kind of sitting there from XRP, Ripple, and Coinbase. They're both wanted to buy it. I think I found out why they didn't sell to XRP or Coinbase. BlackRock plans to buy 10% of Circle's IPO, according to Bloomberg. Circle aims to raise $624 million in its proposed public offering, and BlackRock wants to come in and buy 10% of that offering. Well, 10% of the company of Circle's IPO. So they want to basically buy the majority of this.
10% of 100%, though.
Okay. So they want to buy 10% of 624 million.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
There you go.
yeah,
But still a significant amount.
Yeah.
62.4 million. But I maybe this, so this kind of makes sense, right? Like what BlackRock touches becomes gold pretty much, right? And so it's kind of like we want to make sure that we are in their portfolio. So I think I would have to look further into this, but that to me makes sense, putting two and two together here. But I'm sure there was some other factors that went into them making the decision to pull that deal off the table for both sides, or announcing that they were up for sale.
Well, this is BlackRock, right? I mean, there's so many other ones coming in, and you want to be a part of BlackRock's portfolio. Because this seems to me too, this is only the first of many buys. I feel like BlackRock, they like to get in early, and that's what they're doing here. But I think they're going to try to acquire Circle, not majority, but they're going to want a nice chunk of Circle.
Yeah, but I mean, like money's money, right? So why does it matter?
It's not about money in this situation.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to tell you is that like this is definitely not about the dollar amount. It's about the longevity of what they think Circle can become with the involvement of the IPO being a part of BlackRock's portfolio, right?
Yeah.
BlackRock literally created the Aladdin software that is unbeatable and has been proven over and over periods of times that its number go up, right? So I think that's probably something to do with it, but don't want to speculate too much on this.
Yeah, I think BlackRock wants a board seat. I think that's why they I think they're going to power this, in my opinion. USDC will be a part of BlackRock in the future, and I think they're going to keep buying and buying and buying and buying, and that's perfect for them because they're not going to be seen as like the top guys there, but they'll have the most say. So
yeah.
All right, moving along here. Nasdaq listed company of VivoPower announces XRP-focused treasury strategy with 121 million private placement at $6.05 per share. VivoPower is a London-based B Corp focused on EV conversions, a Tempo ELV plus battery storage, solar, and microgrid solutions. So they're basically a competitor of Tesla. It seems like or maybe they're working with Tesla, but battery storage, solar, microgrid sounds like a lot what Tesla is doing. But anyway, they are basically coming in hard and actually creating the first XRP-focused treasury strategy. 121 million of the stock will be sold, and that money will be bought. They will buy XRP and stash it.
Seems like the new financial system is starting to take place, right? These companies are incorporating different parts of this industry into their treasuries, into their part of their companies, right? So this is just another example of that. We saw I think it was yesterday, the day before yesterday, with SharpLink raising 400 and something 25 million maybe to purchase Ethereum for theirs, and now we have an XRP one. I won't be shocked if there's ones that are going to start adding ADA or Solana. I mean, Doge is at a point to where like and it's so crazy because some of these cryptos, it's like they're almost at a point to where they don't they've been sustained for so many years that it's really hard to collapse it, right? And I feel like Doge is like one of those, right? Yes, it's a joke. You laugh at it, and when you try to explain it to other people, they're like, "Are you kidding me? I would never invest in that." But then it just grows with time, and we've seen even some of the slower ones that are like snail-like, like Litecoin and stuff, that started in 2013 and ended up. They haven't died, and they're not doing anything new, innovative, or at least we don't know about it, right? And so I think those legacy ones are, you know, they're kind of lucky that they got in early or they were established early, and all you had to do was just kind of hype it up a lot. And then Doge was just completely like a fluke situation to where it was a joke turned into something serious, and now like it's a serious like financial asset.
Yeah, XRP, in my opinion, I think this is a complete mistake by VivoPower. They should be buying Bitcoin with this, right? Even,
I mean,
like,
everybody should.
Well, I'm just saying, like, XRP, Ripple dumps it. You know, every time XRP drops, me and you make a joke saying, "Oh, I guess XRP Foundation dropped more. I guess Ripple is
payday
more."
Payday is what we say.
Payday, yeah. Or they keep just dropping XRP. They're dumping it, guys. They're dumping this. This is stupid, in my opinion. I'm not even like a Bitcoin maxi, but if you're gonna put anything as a treasury asset, I think that asset needs Bitcoin. I don't even think you do it as Ethereum. I think Ethereum is an amazing DeFi product. And I think if you want to do some DeFi, maybe Ethereum's maybe your goal. If you want to lock it up, get a little risky, maybe go to Lido, get staked ETH, earn 6% on your ETH, right? So that's the way to go if you're interested in that. But
yeah, but you have to also remember that like these companies, if they're spending over $100 million, they're doing in-depth, thorough research, right? So they're probably getting fed, you know, the future plans of XRP, all these different like, you know, pitches and stuff from that whole situation, and you know, it's a lot of money. If they're not doing in-depth research, a lot of people need to be fired there. So, you know, to me, I'm not saying that XRP is going to be this huge success, but they've done enough research to say, okay, we're going to invest $121 million into it. And so for them, if it doubles in price, you know, that's a pretty big gain for them.
And it will double in price. I'm not, you know, I think everything in crypto doubles in price easily.
The jokes are still funny, though. You know, the payday jokes.
No, what's happening here, in my opinion, is Ripple, and this is just my opinion. I think Ripple is paying them to do this. I think this is just the advertising for Ripple at this point. This company is doing this to help Ripple out, because I don't see why you would put XRP as your treasury asset when Ripple holds so much of it and constantly dumps it. I just don't see it.
Well,
but anyway,
yeah.
Nvidia reports $44 million in revenue, higher than expectations, and this is a big deal in the sense of Ripple kind of is the tech stock. You know, Bitcoin is kind of looked at as a tech stock right now, and Nvidia is that leader. And this is really, really good for this to be happening right now, because Nvidia was kind of beaten down over the course of this year, especially with DeepSeek, right? That Nvidia got hit hard with that, but and then the tariffs, and Nvidia got hit hard with that, but it bounced back here, and I think it's back on its upward trajectory now that we can kind of see Bitcoin kind of follow.
We'll see. Yeah, I mean, obviously it has its own category in itself, but it has kind of followed the tech stocks, right? For a while. But it's getting more and more prominent, so it's going to be competing more and more with them, especially as it moves up in total market cap. Because Nvidia's they're not number one in, because I think Apple reclaimed that, correct?
It's either one or two.
Yeah, they will jump. Like I think eventually, like if that DeepSeek thing didn't happen, dude, they would have solidified that number one spot, right? But it did happen. It brought them down. But nevertheless, they are building the future's machines, right? And so I think eventually they do have that number one spot until Bitcoin says, I'm here knocking on the door," which that could take a couple years, but we'll see.
Yeah, 100%. Moving back, Adam Back predicts Bitcoin will be $1 million in 5 years. It's still early for retail investors, if he said. So I'm actually with him with this. I think in 4 years from right now, me and you are both going to be potentially sitting here, and kind of like, you know, Bitcoin at 100K. Bitcoin's at 1.1 million, right? We're gonna be like, when will we see 6 million? Right? I think we're gonna get to an area of that, and I think he's exactly right. I think in the next 4 years, Bitcoin's going to be at around $1 million, headed to 6 million by the end of the next cycle.
$1 million in 4 years. I mean, people are calling that $700,000 top this year. Some people are still calling that. It's so hard to just envision it, right? Because like the thrust ups have been great, yeah, of course. Like, but if you really look at it, we're almost halfway through the year, and we were battling 69,000. That was the previous cycle's top.
Yeah,
69,420. We're battling that last year, got to that $100,000 mark and passed it, but we really haven't gotten much momentum since then, if you think about it. Like, you know, now we're just kind of back, barely crossed the all-time high, and we're having this fight again. like, how are we supposed to jump up 600K from here by the end of the year? And I'm not saying that's not your call. That's not your call is going into 2026, 700K going into 2026. But there are people that have called it by the end of this year. Even 500K is hard to see.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think Bitcoin moves all at once. I mean, we kind of seen that. Bitcoin went up almost 100% from July to December, right? I mean, that's easy for Bitcoin. And I just think that's not even the bullish time that Bitcoin's going to be. Got to remember, Bitcoin went from, what is it? 2020, it was at like $12,000. In a course of a year, it went to 69,000. I mean, come on. That's
it was what
insane.
Before 69,000?
It was at 12 in let's just say November of 2020. It was like between 9 and 11. And then in the 12 months later, it was at 69.
Yeah, but the previous top was at 20 something thousand from the previous cycle. So, it hadn't even climbed back up to that yet. So I think let's do it from previous cycle top. So 20,000 to 69 was the percentage there, and then now like it gets harder to increase the percentage of growth. The higher the number goes up, of course. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you got to put the factors in the countries are buying. Right, countries that print money are buying.
Very true.
That's the difference, right? So I think we're kind of closer to a 2017 to where we went from 700 to 20,000. Right.
Okay, so even with that being said, it's still going to be really tough to hit a 300-400% gain. Look, I'm not saying it's impossible. Obviously, when nation states and everybody's pushing this, that's why I've always had that conservative range of like 250. Because I feel like that's more probable in my opinion. But hey, I've been wrong before multiple times. And
well, do you agree with Adam here then? $1 million in 5 years. That will put the year to be 2031.
I think
or
like between 500 and $1 million, maybe at that next cycle top. Maybe around there, but
you're not bullish enough.
I'm conservative right now because of like I'm looking at, again, I'm a numbers guy because of what I've done in my past life career. Right, I look at trends, I look at numbers, and obviously I should throw that out of the window because it didn't work at all this year.
No.
But one year. But anyways, anything's possible. Bitcoin does kind of come out of nowhere and just like shocks us. So we'll see.
Yeah. We'll jump into quickly. Alpha Gamer says XRP market cap FDV, which means they have 41% of supply. Yeah, I mean, Ripple owns 41% of the XRP. I mean, why the hell would you use that? I mean, if Sailor ever got 41% of Bitcoin, I would say don't buy Bitcoin, right? I mean,
it might in the future.
41% would be 11 or
I know,
10 million. I mean,
no, it'd be like
not possible.
Around 8 or 9.
Well,
yeah,
no,
but still
20,
like right around
20 million would be 10 million.
50%. You said 41%. So that's a different
okay.
number.
I got you. Yeah. I got you. All right. Jump to the next thing here. New York Mayor Adams calls for a Bitcoin bond in NYC, an end to the state bit license program. This is one of the bullish things that I've heard in the last like week, right? Because of the sense of, and we had some bullish stuff coming from Bitcoin, but the bit license has been total disaster for crypto companies that are out of New York. I don't know why you would put your crypto company in New York, but a lot of places do, including Coinbase. But this bit license program needs to go. I remember people weren't able to download the walking app because of the bit license for Solana, that shoe where you buy shoes and you walk around. So I don't know. The bit license got to go, man, for sure.
I like Eric Adams, trying to fix this, right? And I think it's right. The bit bond is better.
Yeah.
It's a better situation than the bit license, but yeah, I mean, it's all about oversight, right? And
these are two different things. The Bitcoin bond, they want to put it in place, and the bit license, they want to get rid of. The bit license is like you need basically a license to do crypto. Yeah.
Yeah. So the bit license he wants to get rid of, but he's also trying to put it to where like this is a better situation. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's something like the city benefits too, like by being able to earn like, as Bitcoin goes through or something. I'm not sure.
A Bitcoin bond would be basically sell debt to buy Bitcoin, right? Like you basically create, I don't know. Gotta get more into that. But Alpha Gamer says, bit bonds a big deal for sure. All right, this next thing here is huge. So Bergen County, New Jersey, which is like North Jersey, I believe, to tokenize 240 billion in property deeds on Avalanche blockchain. The 5-year project will digitalize 370,000 property deeds across New Jersey, most populous county. So this is a huge, dude, it needs to be put on blockchain. Your deed should be on the blockchain. I love this. I absolutely love what Bergen County is kind of putting here. Well, Avalanche, which is weird, but yeah.
Is it weird? Is it weird?
I mean, what blockchain would you put it on?
I'm just saying, there's some powerful people that like Avalanche. I don't think it's weird. I'm not saying, look, guys, for me, expect a tinfoil hat underneath my hat here. I do a lot of conspiracy here, but you get what I'm saying.
JD Vance,
but kind of going back to what you're saying there, I agree. I think that, securely making sure that it's secure, because at the end of the day, what would happen if there was a hacker that came in and stole your deed? Like, I mean, the names, you KYC your deed, you're going to do that because you want everybody to know, hey, I own this property. Yeah. But could like, I guess there wouldn't be too much of a benefit of a hacker stealing your deed, other than, they can never use it or anything. So it'd actually be more for, I think it'd be more for just accounting purposes and making sure that it's, it's safe, you don't lose it, and that kind of thing. So it's just not using a federal system or a state system, using the blockchain instead.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's the way to go. But that's the thing too, is like, you might not have custody over your deed personally, right? It just might be used as data, right? Or who owns this? I can look it up. It's on the blockchain.
Or leverage too.
Oh, leverage out. Dude, that's where
the smart contracts come in, right? Yeah, it's like, okay, if this loan defaults, then the smart contract legally can change this ownership to such and such bank or whatever. Yeah. But I think we're going a little too far into this, but there's obviously a big business, I think, around that. And that's what we all thought, I think, towards the end of the last cycle, that, the important documents, important event documents, and documented events and stuff would be on blockchain, but we'll see.
Well, technically, right? Doesn't the bank own my deed since I have a mortgage? So it's like the bank would have it.
But no, they own they put a lien on it, right? So yeah, well, actually, no. Yeah, you're right. Until you pay it off, then you get a full ownership deed. So that's where that would benefit. Like if you went in and took a loan against it at that point, you're the owner, and then I think that's where the smart contracts
to their bank. Yeah, you'll send it to their bank. You send it to the bank, and the bank will give you a loan against, just like how they would do Bitcoin, I guess, right? Yeah. So, Alpha Gamer says the BitBonds idea reminds me of volcano bonds for El Salvador. That got a lot of attention. That's 100%
sure
true.
Did.
Remember, the California has already adopted AVAX chain for DMV titles already. I actually didn't know that already.
And I'm surprised about that, because they're usually, when it comes to any type of innovation that helps the people and masses, never mind.
Yeah, no, I gotcha. All right, so moving along here. Ripple's Hidden Road launches OTC crypto swaps in US, opening institutional access to cash settled trades across major digital assets. So Hidden Road basically is a corporate way to trade crypto. I gotta look more into it, but Ripple, I mean, I gotta give it to them. They're making strides. Right?
Well,
the thing forward.
They're crypto to a T. Or sorry, they're corporate to a T.
Yeah.
Opposite of what I just said. But I mean, look, Garlinghouse, he has that banking institution background. He knows how these big wigs move, what they want, what their perceptions are, what their expectations are. So they're going to have success in these kind of setting up entities that can generate revenue and really get these rich, like institutional high-level executives, C-suite guys or owners excited about this product, the banking institution, financial assets, real world assets, that kind of stuff. Ripple's going to have success there. So that's where I think there's a little bit of kind of backdoor possibility of success, to where an XRP holder might benefit down the road, but it might take a while until they build this huge conglomerate, because it seems like they want to build the BlackRock of our industry, right? That kind of mentality is what they're going for.
Yeah, it's scary. I don't want Ripple being the BlackRock of our industry. But all right, moving along here. So the last thing here, we're going to get crypto fear and greed. So DeFi Dev Corp adopts liquid staking token technology developed by Sanctum, becoming the first publicly traded company to invest in liquid staking tokens on Solana. Dev Corp is a public company focused on Solana validator ops and treasury strategy. It launched DFDV Sol using Sanctum, enabling liquid Sol staking with revenue from staking fees. it originally known as Yanover, and it operated an online platform providing data and software solutions for commercial real estate. So the Yanover has been the company that has a sole strategic, reserve, and they're actually using that Solana now. They're actually liquid staking it. So they're making actual yield from that now, and they're actually saying, "Hey, if you want DV or DFDV Sol, we'll stake it in our validators, and we'll give you a liquid version of that, and then you can trade it." But this is insane. This is a NASDAQ traded company that is getting into liquid staking.
I'm glad that this is a headline because I'm hoping that like we can get away from just like this gambling aspect of Solana. Solana does in so many ways seem like they're following the Ethereum path, right? You think about like the supplies are very similar. They're both open-ended, right? There's a infinite supply. Now these big companies are looking ways to kind of do DeFi things with them. Liquid staking was a big thing towards the end of last cycle for ETH, and now it's starting to pick up here for Solana. We're going to see how big this can grow out for Solana in terms of, the DeFi aspect, because that is one place that Solana is weak, in my opinion. If you look at TVL, they need more in terms of DeFi stuff. It's not even actually, they're not even number 2. If you want to throw in a EVM based chain, Tron comes in, I think, above Solana when it comes to DeFi TVL, right? So this is good for them. Probably want to see more of this kind of stuff, in my opinion, with Solana. If you're a long-term believer in them.
Do you think every chain needs to have a DeFi strategy?
Yes, every chain that, and if not, you got to have some sort of really strong narrative that has to be taken seriously, right? So RWA kind of will roll into DeFi. I think it's like a child class of it, right? And so I think you could be known for like an RWA, like Ondo right now. They're really trying to make their name, and they have a really good clear path in terms of what their plan is. You can see institution stuff, right? That's what they are, RWA. But even if you are like this chain that was playful, like kind of Solana is with Pump Fun and some of these other ones like the Bear chain. I don't know, maybe you have your niches like that where it's just NFTs and stuff, but eventually I think for longevity you got to have a strong business model, right? Like I think Abstract does a really amazing job with Luca Nets kind of guiding that. I think they get away with the IP play and they get away with the fun stuff, but the other guys, man, it's going to be tough because not everybody can pull that off.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. But like this is kind of cool though, in a sense of, so you do have they run validator nodes, right? So when you need to run a validator node, you need to lock up Solana to do so. So they're going to actually have you get your Solana, put it in a DFDV, and then they're going to go and stake a majority of that, right? Keeping some liquid for the trading pools and stake majority of that for, so they can kind of earn yield. And let's just say they're getting 8% yield, they'll give you 6% and they'll keep 2%. So this is kind of like their business model as well, right? Staking is a business model for a NASDAQ traded company. I don't know. I just love where we're going with this. It's actually legitimizing, basically to your point, it's legitimizing staking as the new.
And they're coming to us. They're coming to us. So like, I know there's a fear, not necessarily a fear, I should use a better word than that, but there's this thought that you have sometimes of like, well, we don't want to just be like the new version of them. Well, if they're coming to our court, we are, we kind of have our rule set. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not going to set new standards and all this stuff, but an example of that, like Solana is still young in terms of DeFi stuff, right? So I think those rates in 5 years get cut down. So you can earn now, and you're cutting them 2% off of an 8% yield, but you're still getting 6%, right? Off of pretty solid. They're on the stock market. Solana is a solid chain. Yes, they have more control than you would like, but it doesn't matter. I don't think they're gonna go anywhere. You know what I mean? So at least in the next 3 to 5 years, hopefully.
Yeah, I agree. Alpha Gamer says DFDV made headlines because they're the first stock to partner with a meme coin called Bonk.
Well, there you go.
Crazy, yeah. Well, so they're in this to win it, bro. They're in the crypto ecosystem for sure. But let's kind of get into that crypto fear and greed right now. Last week we were 73. Yesterday we're 68. Where do you think we are today? My hint for you is we're lower than that 68. not a lot, but not a little bit.
64.
Right there, 65.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, you're 100% right there. If you get in by
99%.
yeah. So right there, 65. Do you feel 65? I guess tomorrow.
Last
we'll be
night
doing,
I
we're
felt
back, we're back in
65.
the
I'm sure
yellow.
today
Yeah.
they probably feel like 63 or 62, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we dropped down to 106.4, which has been that's lower than the previous Friday's low, which was at 106.800, because I actually took a position before it dropped down to that price. So this has kind of been our local low that we've seen at that 106.3, but we can get to that in a second.
Yep. Let's hop right into it with the crypto price action brought to you guys by Artura.finance. Artura, they're building something special on a Bitcoin L2. The L2 they are choosing is the one, the only Hemi. Hemi is big for being backed by Binance. It's the only reason why I really knew it in the first place. But this is a great opportunity for somebody who wants to get that Hemi token. Because it's backed by Binance. By using Artura.finance, you can actually earn the ARA token, potential airdrop, and then potentially get the Hemi airdrop. This is just me kind of thinking from my experiences in crypto, right? Usually when you use something brand new, you'll get their token. And if you're using a chain that's brand new, you'll get their token. So this is double the airdrop, double the fun, in my opinion. I highly recommend using Artura.finance when the time comes. But they're not only launching on Hemi, they're also launching on Botonics. Botonics is saying they're not having a token. I'm kind of up in the air if they will or not. I still think they will. But if they don't, they are going to be incentivizing their chain. Everyone needs to incentivize their chain. It's just what these chains do. So by using Artura.finance on Botonics, you're potentially going to earn something from Botonics. I'm looking forward to that. But you also get the ARA token as well.
Yes, sir. And before we get into the Bitcoin price action, guys, help us out here. Make sure you smash that like on the YouTube side, subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on, all that great stuff. Make sure you're plugged in so you get the latest and greatest updates of the crypto sphere. And then on the X side, share the space for us. Let's get more people educated in here and onboarded. And on the abstract side, if you could do the same, we would greatly appreciate you. But let's jump into some Bitcoin price action, starting with the hour chart per usual. You can see this downtrend kind of starting, or has started, I should say, right at the Tuesday. This is the hour chart. So this goes all the way back to Tuesday. So we've been in this downtrend for about 2 days here. It looks like straight down. No, not straight down. It's been kind of choppy all the way down here. But look, it's on the daily chart, you can also see that like today or yesterday was, I think, our second or third consecutive red day that we've had after a number of green days. I want to say like 5 or 6 in a row. So I'm not too shocked. We did kind of hit that high of 111 right here. You can see we wicked all the way up here. Yeah, so look, I think we're going to be in this continual downtrend probably until the weekend, right? And then on Sunday, we'll see if we can get a reset. Maybe we continue down. You got people like Bob Loukas that Shizzy was talking about earlier that sees us possibly going down to 102. We'll see if the alts can kind of jump up while Bitcoin goes down. But if so, maybe we get a trigger event in terms of some alts going crazy. But let's continue to talk about Bitcoin here on the hour chart. You can see the MACD looks like it just started the first hour candle for sell pressure here, and we just landed in the oversold territory. So it could be a little ugly next couple of hours here. We'll see if this downtrend continues. I have no reason to believe it won't. Every day we've had some downtrend with a little bit of pullback up and then downtrend again. So the curse of the Bitcoin conference seems to be taking its effect, right? Today's the last day, so maybe it stops bleeding today. At the end of the day, we'll see. But yeah, so for second half today, probably chop again. I wouldn't be surprised if we go back up to 108 and then come back down to 106.5 or low 106, maybe even dip down into 105. But I'm basing it off of this downtrend that's, in my opinion, probably going to continue. We do have we just started kind of another downtrend on the hour chart. So we'll see if this continues down. I would not be shocked if we get into the mid 105s, low 106,000, but this is not financial advice. It's just very high level, letting you guys think where possibly Bitcoin's heading for the rest of today. So that's what I'm seeing on the hour chart. Sorry, I didn't have better news for you guys. The 4 hours probably going to back up my 1 hour thesis, and it does. You can see here, you know, stopped right in the tracks on the stochastics. Looks like we did a little bit of a U-turn, and the MACD, you know, looked like we were letting up on the sell pressure, and it only to turn around and create a bigger red candle here. You can see that the tightening is kind of happening with the Bollinger Bands. It went from like, you know, this big move up here, which opened up the band, and then, you know, a big move down, which kept it open. And then now we're tightening again. So this tightening might just be kind of sideways action with a little bit of downtrend and then an aggressive move. And that aggressive move could pull us down to that 102 that Loukas was talking about, right? Bob Loukas. I don't like to say this stuff because it's just like completely against of what, you know, the whole M2 money supply. But if you look in the supply, and which maybe we can pull up here in a bit, there's certain parts of where the M2 money supply is doing like Bitcoin does a little bit of an inverse of it for just a short period of time. And I think we're kind of in this section of where that's possible, right? And that could very well bring us to the 102 area. And if that happens, we could see 102 on Sunday, right? Because the 4-hour chart gives us a little bit of a 2 to 3 day outlook forecast. So that could play right into Sunday, maybe getting us to that 102. But that 102 is that local bottom that a lot of people are calling. So it'd be almost like a tagging event, maybe ranging from 102 to 104 again for the next couple of days after Sunday, so early next week, and then moving its way, making that next move to start June back up. But we shall see, guys. The 4-hour is kind of giving support to the 1-hour for today, saying that further down is most likely what we're going to see. Let me get into the weekly chart here for Bitcoin. The weekly chart. All right. Let's take a look here. The weekly still looks okay. This red candle is forming, but it looks like we're taking a little bit of a break from all these glorious green candles, you know, coming all the way from 77,000 in the April 7th. Geez, we wicked all the way down to 74,000. That's so crazy. That wasn't that long ago. That was like a month and almost 2 months. Almost 2 months ago, yeah. But anyways, taking a little pause here, possibly. But as you can see in some of these bullish rises up, we did take little breaks, right? So it could just be like a little pause. I feel like this is similar to something that we experienced in November, December. If you look here, this was January. So if we go here, when did we start that first rise up? Right here. So November was right here. So we had 2 big green candles with a little bit of a break, and December finished us off with 2 decent sized green candles. So could be experiencing something similar, right? November was really bullish, and then a tiny break I remember that we had, and then bullish beginning of December. Obviously, you know, historical trends don't replicate exactly, but it could be something similar, right? Taking a little bit of a pause after a really bullish May, and then you know, having a great maybe second half of June, maybe 3/4 of it. We'll see how it plays out. But I'm feeling okay still on the weekly. We still have you know, I think we're still going to have this momentum. Our momentum indicators are still looking good. Obviously, it takes a lot for these to move because it's each candle is a week. So I think we're doing okay there. So that's what Bitcoin looks like, guys, on all those 3 different time frames. If we take a look at the others chart, which is everything besides Bitcoin in the top 10, the others chart on the weekly chart looks kind of where it has looked all week, right? It's just kind of still under that 50-day EMA. I would love to see Ethereum really kind of blast up while Bitcoin comes down, but I don't have confidence in that because every time we've called that, it just hasn't really happened. There was a moment in November where Ethereum did get back to, I think, 4,000, or November, early December. And I think Bitcoin maybe pulled back a little bit, but then it exploded too. So it seems to be still connected to Bitcoin at the hip. And I really hope that Ethereum can kind of do its own thing here. There's an opportunity for it to happen, but we'll see if that's the case. Right now, the others chart, and this Ethereum, by the way, wouldn't fall into this because Ethereum is in the top 10. This is everything outside of Ethereum, or the top 10 and Bitcoin. So all the mid caps and some of those blue chips still that are like ranked 11 and below. But this, you know, Ethereum will guide this. So if Ethereum goes up, this will do better as well. So that's what I'm seeing, guys, on all the charting. And then you can see the crypto bubbles does not look great, but the daily, it looks better than yesterday's daily, honestly. So this is a little bit of a optimistic sign, because yesterday the daily on crypto bubbles was like 80% red, 85% red, I would say maybe, and 15% green. Now it's flipped a little bit. We're more close to 50-50, maybe 45-55, but around that range right there. But daily,
Where's Farcoin?
Oh god,
What's
that's the
tomorrow
guy.
look like?
That is the guy.
Farcoin's been the leading indicator of what happens the next day. If Farcoin is
Oh
green,
god,
the next day is green.
it's down
One more day, bro.
2.5%. Come on, Fartcoin. We need you to start the alt market or alt season. It looks like some notables here. Let's start with some of these memes. You see Pengu down 4.3%. You see Dog Whiff up 0.6%. No big deal either way. Floki up 0.9%. So at least these two memes are kind of hanging on there. Trump is down 1%. I don't see any other big ones here. And then you go to the utility tokens here. You see Ondo down 0.8%. You see Gala down 0.9%. Virtuals, which hasn't been down in a while, but it's been due for a pullback. It's down 3.1%. But I think Virtuals has done pretty well for the most part. Monero down 1.8%. And then Hyperliquid down 5.6%. Hyperliquid's also had pretty good momentum, I would say, the past month or so. So it being pulled back is a little bit of a sign. I'm thinking, but Fartcoin for sure is a sign because it has been consistent for sure. Let's take a look at the second 101 through 200 in terms of altcoins. Let's see where our guy Dog is doing today on the daily. Let's see if we can find him though first. Let's see who can find him first, you or me. There he is, down 1.3%. Not too bad, so that momentum is still there a little bit because the pullback isn't horrible. And Dog has been up 9 to 10% the past week, so on a day-to-day, so that's been pretty good. Pulse Chain down 3.3%, Hex down 4.9%. And then Eigenlayer
Johnson says, "Yo, family, hope you got some ZBCN up 30% today."
Nice.
Shout out to Courtney Johnson. Good for you, bro.
Yeah. ZBZN. We did see it on the bubbles yesterday. Is that
there.
a top?
It's the giant green one.
Oh my god! I need some bifocals. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah. So that is the crypto bubbles for the alt market for you guys. Don't panic here. That's what I would say. I don't like to give a lot of advice or anything like that in terms of like the market, but I would say
never panic.
In life. Panicking is never good. The only time I think it's okay is it's like you're about to lose your life or something, and it's a fight or flight situation. That's the only time. But it'll put you.
You're gonna die. You need to use your brain and get out of the situation that you're in.
That's where the fight or flight comes in, right? You gotta survive it. But yeah, so that's what we're looking at. I think we're gonna be fine. Normal pullback with Bitcoin after kind of rising to another all-time high. The all-time high didn't feel that great because it just barely passed over, but I don't know. Sometimes we gotta be thankful for the little wins we get.
Yeah, I agree. All right, speaking of little wins, my guy Matt got a little win yesterday. Shout out to you, my friend. You were the first comment. 922. Was there a Reaper? I'm curious.
I don't think there was a Reaper, but okay. I wanted to make sure I didn't forget putting it up the next day, and we had that extremely long stream. And so I was doing it, and so I put it up. That's why I didn't really think about the title. So I had to switch the title. So I think when I switched the title, either reset or people just weren't expecting it because we were already streaming.
Gotcha. That's probably what it was for sure. And then so Matt's, congratulations to you. You have you got yourself a win. Let me check exactly how many wins that you've gotten here. Let's go back to your last win. It looks like it's been a little while. Where are you, Mats? I'm not sure, but I'll definitely make sure you get your. I don't think it was your first win. No, no way.
It might be.
Yeah, I'll have to look in.
He was pretty excited.
Yeah. Oh no, he has two here.
Okay,
there you 318, go. And then it looks.
There is no end then.
I'm just kidding. This is your third win of the year. I'll definitely go through and make sure that I'll definitely double check like I normally do to make sure that it is not your fourth win or fifth win. So I'll check for you, man. But congratulations to you, Matt's got your win there. But let's kind of jump into the rest of roll call and see who's here. Nabob was second. Shout out to Nabob, followed by Mempool Punk. And we got Lackey Lukey. Finally, congrats, Mats. Yeah, man. Finally, it wasn't the top dogs, right? So, Webdro, shout out to Webdro here every single day. Appreciate you, my friend. It's community chat, XP, hype it up. Yeah, man. Webdro also says that he said might be the end of the Reaper with this chat update. It was a chat update? I don't know.
I guess so.
Malam Yuri says, just want to say I love how you did a short tutorial on Satsuma yesterday. Sometimes we hear all the good stuff, but they seem to be so complicated. Quick tutorials are priceless for us noobs. Yeah, 100%. I mean, we just Malam, if there's anything you want us to go over, we'll go over anything, right? Just let us know, especially if it's something like, you know, we can knock out in 5-10 minutes. We can, if there's anything you're even interested in getting into and we have experience playing with it, we'll or even if we're not, we'll do it live. We'll do it live. So PJNZ says, oh, what's the new leaderboard crown thing? New leaderboard crown thing.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah,
because Matt's actually has or I saw it yesterday whenever he I think if you go to the actual YouTube channel, you can see that like Matt's had like this leaderboard crown or something on whenever he commented. So yeah, we gotta look into that. Maybe there's some sort of connection with that.
Maybe it's the first comment. They're doing it for us now. Maybe they know that we do this.
Well, I think that'd be really cool if YouTube gave back to their viewers. That'd be really cool. If there was like a points thing or something.
PGZ Webdro another competition, and then Webdro said PGZ, yeah, much easier counts each message. Oh, so every message you put in there, I guess you become the leader if you have the most messages. Yeah, I'll look into that. That's really cool. Matt said Reaper hasn't been here yet. Nope, no one got reaped. Ordinal Sweets is here. Kevin B. Williams every single day. Let's go, Kevin. He says dog for president. Shout out to you, my friends. Satoshi Nakamoto is here. Shout out to Satoshi. I knew you watched the show. K99 is here. He says Bitcoin is going to 140. Mo Chain is here. Said what's up, Justin? Every single day, bro. Howdy to you as well. Mo Chain says Liquidium is on fire. Yeah, I actually
they are.
I gotta look more into that. I got more into.
Well, they just opened up cross-chain lending and swaps and stuff.
Is it officially open? Okay, I gotta grab that. And then Courtney Johnson, Mo Chain, Chief Axel is here. Nighthawk says GM from Sin City. Nuki's led by Danny Boy. It took over Trio House. Set up shop since the morning till 1 a.m. We partied with Adam McBride, the legend. Wish you guys were here. Wow, man. It sounds like you're having one hell of a Bitcoin conference for sure. That just sounds like a crazy day. Nuki's led it. The Trio House. Man, shout out to you guys, man. Mats is here. Fabalaki Luki again. Alpha Gamer. My God. Thank you so much for being here, Alpha Gamer, man. It really helps. Your knowledge is you're good, man. Amazing. Matt said finally love a long time ago. Yeah, man. He says, I think I have one. No, you have three. So shout out to you, man. Like I said, I'm gonna go through and make sure I'll take a look. But yeah, that's absolutely awesome. And guys, you're gonna want to get on this list. We might be doing something special for everyone who even makes this list. So get on this list if you haven't. One win potentially could be worth it. So definitely check that out. But that is your roll call for today.
I put the link for the Liquidium thing in the private if you want to look at that or if you want to save it.
Yeah, we can check that out for sure. Matt's just comment down. All right, we'll jump to the next thing here. Okay, so yesterday we kind of talked about it at the beginning of the show, but yesterday we were in the event for we were actually hosted the event via X and YouTube. He said Chintai partnered with Arch Network to launch HoneyB. Bitcoin's first RWA platform. It brings tokenized real-world assets to Bitcoin with full compliance and no bridges or wraps. Chintai is an end-to-end asset platform regulated and licensed by a monetary authority of Singapore. This marks a major leap for Bitcoin DeFi and real-world asset integration, offering regulated access to Bitcoin liquidity while maintaining decentralization and trust. Absolutely huge for Arch. This might be the biggest thing to happen to Arch in a long time. This is going to be massive once Arch goes live because now we have RWAs on the Bitcoin blockchain. I think you're going to see more and more of this. More and more companies want to do this, but RWAs is going to be one of the biggest areas of crypto, in my opinion, as well.
Yeah, it definitely will be, and everybody that has the knowledge base will have access to it, unlike previously whenever these type of assets and products were more kind of segmented for a specific group of people, right? So this is where I think like the advantage starts to flip, is that we're already comfortable in our skin here, right? So we know how the space works. So now we just got to kind of learn the RWA aspect, who offers the best version of that. And can you go back to the beginning of that headline? I think you said something about like they have a connection with, is it the Singapore government, like a department of their
the
government?
monetary authority of Singapore. They're licensed by them, regulated and licensed.
So to me, that's like the biggest part of this headline right there.
Yeah.
So we know Singapore has been a successful country in terms of being in Southeast Asia and being able to like really have a strong GDP, having really good trade relationships, and just being able to have a successful society that the government is doing very well, and because they've got the regulation passed there. This is huge. Man. Like centralized exchanges had hard times initially kind of getting regulatory clarity with Singapore's government at one point. And then, that kind of got easier. And now for this to happen with a project that's going to be on a new chain / environment. I know, there's a native component to Bitcoin with it, but it's a new environment. It's a new chain, however you want to call that, right? I think this is huge. Right? We obviously need to learn more about it, but we're in the right place at the right time, in my opinion, with this, because we are very familiar with Arch. And if you've been following us and watching us, you guys are too. And so, we'll most likely have these guys on our show. They can break down how the platform works, educate you and us about RWA and how it can benefit the everyday crypto user. And so I think this could be a big opportunity overall for the Bitcoin ecosystem and the community here.
And this is like a huge opportunity for Bitcoin DeFi. They're bringing HoneyBee's bringing the assets, right? Now a lot of other projects can come and build around those assets, allowing you to stake, borrow, and lend. Everything that DeFi actually brings to the table can now be done with RWA. So this is the one product, like it'll allow you to tokenize your assets, and actually add gold and stuff like that to the Bitcoin ecosystem. Imagine, like I said this yesterday, but imagine a gold Bitcoin LP. Like, if you're somebody who wants to just like have your money and like just forget about it, just gold Bitcoin LP, lock it in. It's the safety of gold with the with Bitcoin's upside, right? It's just like it's everything you need. And then when Bitcoin drops, right, you're selling your gold in the Bitcoin, and when Bitcoin pops, you're selling your Bitcoin kind of in the gold. So it's always kind of sitting there as an asset that's kind of always going up in value. And I think we both can say gold and Bitcoin will go up forever because
they go, and a lot of times they go up simultaneously, right? Or one will take a head start, gold will take a head start, and then Bitcoin will follow through. But that's going to happen, and so.
But then you're selling your gold in the Bitcoin when gold's rising like it did. You'll be selling in the Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin starts rising again, you get the best of both worlds.
Yeah. So where I'm going to be interested in this is not something from 2021 to where you like new DEX LP 100,000% APR. You got to be realistic here. APR is going to be, it could be juicy in the beginning, but when I say juicy for something like this, I'm talking about like over 10%. If it's like something like 10 to 12, I'm taking that. I am taking that with this.
Well, with an LP, it's trading fees, right? So when people are coming in and they're trading their Bitcoin for gold or gold in the Bitcoin,
I don't think they'll do LPs though. I think they'll do staking.
No. So if it doesn't matter. You can if it's a decentralized platform like with what's the saying? Like what's that the DEX? The Saturn. It doesn't matter if it's a tokenized asset. I can put anything in LP.
But we don't know what their business model is going to be. We don't know if they're going to keep these tokenized gold within their platform protocol only.
No, you're going to be able to take them off. That's the whole point of.
Did they state that?
Well, I mean, that's decentralized. Like that's HoneyBee's thing. You can't call it centralized and be centralized. So you will be able to take it off their platform in a tokenized way. So I'm going to be able to go buy gold. You know what I mean? Depending on how it is tokenized, right?
But I mean, even when you go back to other, even when you go to like other DEXs and you look at like, let's say you looked at something like a Bitcoin USD pairing, like the APR is always lower. You know what I mean? It's always lower. And so it's going to be lower with Bitcoin and gold as well, just because everybody knows that that's the safest LP to have.
Yeah, it's a trading pair. That's kind of what I'm saying. Yeah, it's going to be lower. It's not going to be insane, but it's probably going to be between 10 and 20%, right? Otherwise you can just stake Bitcoin and earn
I think
5%,
maybe in the very
right?
beginning, maybe
6%.
like 20, but I think it gets down to 10 pretty quick, and I think it eventually like
Yeah,
gets settled down to like. But to me, I'm excited about that because
10% on gold and Bitcoin. That's amazing.
that's like that would be such a great opportunity, right?
Yeah.
And me personally, because everybody is willing to roll the dice on these other kind of really high whatever. You just
Yeah.
gotta you have to time that. With this, you can relax. You can obviously you have your goals with it and all that stuff. But look, if this comes to the Bitcoin ecosystem, it automatically from the jump, if it's something that like Arch launches day one and it's there, it would be a great beginning to their ecosystem.
Oh yeah.
Because now there's people that like you got some of these probably lamos that are the maxis saying Bitcoin Go, okay, I'm gonna try, let me try some of that, and be like, that's what I'm trying to say. Products like this is what will do the unlocking of the 2 trillion that they keep talking about.
Yep. 100%, especially if you're seeing other RWAs like real estate and stuff like that, different aspects of borrowing and lending with, potential, you own a building. Let's just say you own a skyscraper and you tokenize it using, HoneyB, and potentially, that HoneyB will own, Chintai will own the deed. HoneyB will get you a digital version of that, and then you take a loan out on that on a lending protocol. Hey, you need a couple $1 million in Bitcoin. Potentially can get that. I mean, that's we're talking years down the line, but that's something that we can probably definitely look
How would
forward
that
to.
work though? Like if
Just-
Chintai owned the deed of the building, but then like the liquidity providers wouldn't own it. Would they have to change the deed to the ownership of the liquidity
No,
pool?
you would borrow against it. You couldn't put it. You couldn't put
Gotcha.
RWA in. Yeah, I'm just
Borrow
saying,
gets
like,
in a
let's just-
smart contract, kind of what we talked about earlier. If they
Exactly.
default, then it goes into whatever ownership there is. Yeah, there's gonna be
Exactly.
interesting.
There's a lot of
interesting
different
products.
aspects of
Yeah.
what HoneyBee's bringing to the table. So really, but I'm gonna start digging in more into them because Chintai does have places. They're already doing this on other chains, so I'm gonna look into other products. But this is HoneyB. This is their product on Bitcoin, so that's pretty cool. All right, Hyperliquid's TVL doubles in a month to 1.46 billion. Now the 10th largest blockchain. And let me show. It did drop a little bit because the hype token dropped a little bit. But let me show my screen here. So it's like at 1.4 billion. It's still number 10. But dude, look at this upward momentum here in the TVL just being locked on Hyperliquid. I'm sure that you're making a killing on because it's you could probably get paid in the trading fees and the leverage, right? So you're probably killing it on Hyperliquid, locking potentially Bitcoin USD or ETH USD.
Like, why am I not
it's
doing
probably
it?
insane. Dude, this is an opportunity right now, but you're seeing a lot of people take advantage of it. So as more and more TVL goes in, it's probably less and less profitable. I'm sure if you were doing it back here, you were making.
Well, there was that
insane
scare
amount.
too, to where
Down here.
there was that someone gamed it, and then I'm sure the LP providers got really nervous and probably withdrew, and they got hurt probably by that. But then, like it's, I mean, Hyperliquid has to be like the most TVL right now. They've probably passed GMX. I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, well, chain wise, I mean, alone they are number 10. So I doubt there's any DeFi product that's anywhere near Hyperliquid. I'd be shocked. You know what I mean? Sitting at 1.4 billion. I mean, it's above Aptos, above Barachain, above Polygon, above Sonic. So that's impressive.
Polygon
impressive names. Polygon, Barachain, and Sonic. We know Barachain has a ton of TVL, right? Especially on day one. So
GMX has 474 million, and they used to be kind of like the standard when it came to perps, right? Back in the day.
Yeah. So Hyperliquid has almost 3.5 times more.
There's more products too that they have their spot. They have the chain as well. So they, I mean, and then I think right now it's just really popular product for the staking liquidity there, providing liquidity. And that's the biggest problem with a lot of these on-chain perps, right? Is that some people say, they prefer centralized exchanges because of the liquidity there. And when there's lower liquidity, then sometimes, you can run into issues where like the price can really spike down really fast or up, depending, and then people get liquidated. But what Hyperliquid has done is it's kind of changed the game a little bit and saying, hey, like on-chain perps is fine as long as you guys can provide, create this formidable liquidity vault that just like our TVL just continually goes up because people believe in it, and their token is the way that they handle their tokenomics is crazy because they use a portion of their fees, which they're earning tons. Their volume's crazy. They're buying back the floor of it. So Hyperliquid has done a really good job in terms of creating this almost like flywheel that has been just a consistent grind up with little like bumps down and then continually going up on all aspects of it.
Yeah, 100%. So I went down a little bit and I realized that 500 million is Hyperliquid itself, and this is the Hyperliquid chain. So you are seeing 276 million in Hyperlend. You're seeing 230 million in Felix. I don't know what Felix is.
What's the perp? What's the perp one?
That's Hyperliquid. That's the first one.
Okay, so 500. So they're right neck to neck with GMC when it comes to just perps. Then
it's funny they have the same name, like Hyperliquid Chain and then Hyperliquid the perps, but I guess that's how it kind of started, right? Hyperliquid was just a perps platform, and then the chain kind of came, and now you got Hyperlend, you have all the other one, Hyperswap and so on and so on. But still, I mean, it's still above GMX, right? In TVL wise, just with its Hyperliquid perps, So, but then you got Hyperlend, which is half of the perps. I didn't even know there was a Hyperlend existed until just right now. So. But yeah, man. All right, let's jump into the last thing here, which is Liquidium. We cannot not talk about Liquidia. So this is something that I need to educate myself on a little bit more, but it's just dropped yesterday, so I'm not too late. But it says bullish across cross-chain lending product made by Liquidity Fi. So what is the difference between Liquidium WTF and Liquidium Fi? Because I'm struggling with that.
Borrow beyond borders, meaning
that's Liquidium Fi.
Yeah. So
it's Liquidium WTF.
So obviously Liquidium's focused on the Bitcoin ecosystem primarily. It seems like Liquidium Fi is open to other ecosystems, whether that's maybe Ethereum, Solana, whatever, their whole announcement. So this was an announcement that came out of the Bitcoin conference, by the way, yesterday. And so we're definitely getting caught up on that, but maybe if you could go back to that original tweet, we can kind of see. So this is just regular Liquidium. It's focused only on Bitcoin ordinals and runes and BRC20s, which I think with the other Liquidium Fi, now you're talking about USDC, you're talking about that one right there.
Oh, hold on. Where's Liquidium? They don't have it here. I could probably just
it says help.
Yeah, I just had it. There it is.
No, oops. You got go forward. Go forward.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. I'll just go to it. LAQ. So I didn't even know there was two different Liquidiums.
Yeah, this is
just now.
I think they've been kind of revving up for this.
So I'm kind of looking through.
You're not sharing anything.
Okay, they did have. Yeah, 1 second.
Okay.
Make sure I can. Robin. Okay, so Liquidium Fi is just okay. Here it is. So it's two different websites now too?
Yes. Two different products, two different product offerings. Same parent brand. Two different product offerings though. So there is a website called Liquidium.fi, and that is their website there, and that's what you have there, right? So it says you can get started. You can try the demo. This is on the fly, so if there's any bumps and bruises here, don't kill us. Don't throw any stones at us. We're just kind of walking through this together with you guys. So you can see there's so Solana, USDT, Ethereum, and Bitcoin.
What chain are they doing this on? Because obviously you need smart contracts.
You can try to connect your wallet, and it'll let you kind of connect whatever wallet. So you get Bitcoin, Solana, and Ethereum. Yeah.
Okay.
So three different options here in terms of what you're trying to do. If you go to borrow, I guess you would have to kind of put your wallet in there to see what they, you can actually borrow. But I'm sure
I can borrow USDC.
Okay.
right?
So
Yeah.
so you would have to put some like whatever you have in your wallet up for that.
Yeah.
So they're joining the game here. They're joining the cross chain, and like honestly, like I'm actually a little shocked that Liquidium was so open minded. I love it though. They're so open minded to this scaling solution world, right? So the first time that I noticed that was when they used ICP to help the one-click lending. Remember, they actually incorporated ICP's tech stack. So I said, okay, Robin's open-minded here, right? So that's pretty cool. They have their native layer one kind of borrowing and lending just with your regular Bitcoin wallet. You get in ordinals and all that stuff. Then they have the ICP with that's back on the Bitcoin website that you can do like the one-click lending. Now they have the Liquidium Fly that opens up to Solana and Ethereum. So it's more about like kind of consolidating liquidity, I think, or maybe opening up channels, I should say.
But now they're stepping in to a world of, the bigger boys. They're stepping into, the ETH guys, right? The big borrowing and lending and stuff like that. But, they did offer Liquidium WTF, which is like, you take a loan against your puppet. How they started really, right? And now they're entering the world of Ethereum and, borrowing and lending against different ones.
It looks like Mo wants us to do the demo here. He says that we can connect our Phantom wallet to it because it supports everything. So let me try to pull this up on the side while you look at that. What do you think, though? Do you think this is a smart move? Do you think this is a?
You're not gonna like my response here, but
well, I mean,
I wish they would just stay Bitcoin native, right?
What's your
like? All right, so let's just say I was gonna take a loan at Ethereum. I wouldn't use Liquidium to do that, right? I would do it with a safer brand name, like the big guys, the ones that I know 100% tested, 100% unhackable over the course 4 years of strength, right? That we've seen. So like I wouldn't like. Why would you do it here?
So you're telling me that you don't have faith that Liquidium is fully...
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they're not battle tested. Why would I use something not battle tested when I can use something battle tested?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So they should not even. So they shouldn't even enter the game, though.
I mean, why? I mean,
why
wouldn't you use Aave? But why wouldn't you just use Aave? If I'm already on ETH, why wouldn't you use Aave?
Well, I think they're just trying to open up to maybe some people on Solana and Ethereum that are like, "Hey, what's happening over there with runes?" Or what's happening over there with
if this didn't like stop them, like if this was like okay, this is just a I just feel like they should have used this dev power on Bitcoin to kind of build their.
What else could they do?
Already
right
number
now?
one on Bitcoin. They can do a lot. You can do a lot of stuff. You can do RWA. You can do a lot of stuff on Bitcoin that is kind of happening. People are building.
How do you know they're not working on that already in the background? This is just a release that they. Well, yeah, maybe this was just on their priority list.
I'm just saying you could use that dev power on things natively on Bitcoin. I'm just saying they're now entering a world of giants and they're an ant, right? I mean,
this isn't their main product, though. You know what I mean? So I feel like because this is not their main product. I'm like, to me, I look at it as, all right. Let's switch over here. I'm going to add mine to this. Remove you and add mine here. All right, Mo. I am doing the demo here. So it says, welcome to cross-chain loans. Liquidium is decentralized cross-chain. Oh, you got it?
Yeah, you're good.
Decentralized cross-chain lending protocol that allows you to borrow and lend assets across multiple chains. So I want to click the learn more here. And it just opens this up, which is interesting.
Bitcoin address. So that is one cool thing. You don't have to use wrap Bitcoin for this like you would have to do on Aave. That's the one benefit I see of this. You can just
so my Bitcoin account is added here. So if I wanted to supply, I guess I could supply this. I don't have Bitcoin in this address, but I'm just going to confirm it because I think this is a demo, which doesn't matter. So I just I hope I didn't have. Hopefully, I didn't have Bitcoin on that one.
You just locked up $7,000.
No, yeah, definitely. I wouldn't have that like stashed away without knowing. Okay, cool. So basically, I lock that up, right? And then I supply. So if someone wants to borrow now, I kind of add to that like pot, right, to where they can pull from. That's what
Yes,
just happened?
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're basically staking your Bitcoin. You're getting yield on your Bitcoin when someone borrows it.
Gotcha. Okay, so now,
which your APY is 3%, which kind of sucks. Well, it's better than nothing, but you are
combined effect of all supply and borrow positions on net worth. It is possible to have a negative net APY if that APY is higher than supply APY.
So you're risking your
that's if I borrow. If I borrow, then because I've already lent. So right now, if I don't do anything, I can't have a negative APY. But if I borrow and I'm not able to pay back, or like like my APY is higher, then that's where the negative API would come in. Okay, so so that's how you do it, I guess. So you can basically lend, and then if I want to withdraw, I can just withdraw all of it at any time, it's saying. And so the borrow APY is 3.22%. And the supply APY is what?
Well, so you're paying 3% yield on the borrow? That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I mean, it has to be whatever I'm getting, right? I guess. So whatever it matches on the other side here. So I mean, okay, let's go to markets here. So let's say
a little confusing. It's not really like telling you like the LTV or anything.
Yeah. So
like 60%.
Hold on. So like, let's say I want to supply USDT. I think I could do so with my Bitcoin. Let's see. Maybe not. I don't know. Let's say I want to do 50%. So I'm going to do like 6,700 here. And I say confirm. Okay. Looks like the demo just crapped out there. But yeah, so it seems to be pretty simple, like straightforward in that aspect, like supply borrow. But yeah, I do think that, maybe we need to break this down a little bit more for like a full on kind of episode here, because they are entering the game. But I don't know. Do you think this is bullish for the Liquidium token?
I mean, wait,
where are we at? I was like, where are we?
I had the full
I'm in the
screen up,
void.
so
okay.
I don't know. Do you think it is?
I think the Liquidium token is going to be one of the first like utility tokens in the Bitcoin ecosystem that explodes. Okay. I think because there's a lot of Bitcoin ecosystem support. There's a lot of VC support in the Bitcoin ecosystem. You're talking about probably like an early day, like Aave type of situation or something like that, but very early days, right? Like we still need to see a lot more liquidity flow into this ecosystem. But then you have like the fluids that are going to catch up and stuff like that. So I think the people that are like paying attention in our ecosystem, you're at the right place at the right time. We're all early. And if you think you're early now, how do you think we felt like 2 years ago when the ecosystem was booming and we're like, that's it. We made it. We're done. Like in 2023 at the end, we were like, there's going to be so much building happening in 2024. And all of a sudden it just went dormant.
There was no building in 2020.
And now, well, I think there was some building, but there was happening like, separately, not talking about it. And then now like all of a sudden this influx of inflow, I should say, of investments, whether it's from asymmetrical, or if it's from DPI, or if it's from, Bitcoin, what is it, the Frontier Fund or whatever that Trevor does. Like, there's a lot of like investors starting to come over here and saying, hey, we think this is a part of what the future is. And so you're early to these early Aaves, to these early MakerDAOs, to these early versions of that for Bitcoin.
100%. Okay, so people want us to check out what the hell this is. I have no idea, but let's kind of check in. So apparently you're getting XP. So MoChain has 150 XP. This is not from us, guys. This is from
it's sharing like a share of a share of a share on the thing on the screen.
What is it? Yeah. Don't look at this. Okay. Look at this. Yeah. Don't look behind the curtain. No, I'm just kidding. look over here. So MoChain is, see this, number one?
Yeah.
And then like
I think it's whoever's commenting the most during the session. I think they're ranking them.
Okay. So everyone basically got a rank.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get 25 points just for a comment. So what are these points going to? Are we going to see like who is our largest person? That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Like a biggest supporter, biggest comment supporter. Yeah. So
all right, so December 31st, we'll give something away to whoever has the most XP. I mean, why not, right? We'll be a part of the.
no,
I'll
you
give something
can't.
away. I don't care.
Oh, okay. No, we could give something away. I thought you were just trying to
Stop being
scrap.
so cheap, bro. Give stuff away. Let's give
Hey,
back.
I'm okay to give stuff away, but what I'm saying is, I thought you were saying that you're scrapping the way we've been doing the spreadsheet. That
No.
wouldn't be fair.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm saying something different.
Yeah.
But
Something.
I think, yeah, man, I think that's our show today. We got 194 people on YouTube on X, not to mention everyone on Abstract, Twitch, and Rumble, and then Spotify later. Appreciate every single one of you guys who are here every single day, and get that XP. Let's do it. Shout out to you guys.
Yeah, maybe YouTube's gonna have a token in the future. That would be crazy if they just came out of left field, right?
You could tokenize potentially YouTube's thing.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll see.
I guess that would be
see.
Google stock. Yeah,
I know all you guys are hung over in Vegas too, Danny, and all you guys. I'm sure you guys are having fun out there as well. Shout out to you guys representing the community, the on-chain community as well. But yeah, we appreciate all you guys. We're gonna wrap it up here. If you could check out our partners, greatly appreciate that, as well as it supports us, right? To continue to do this. Sats Terminal is the DEX aggregator swap for the Bitcoin ecosystem, really focusing a lot on the runes ecosystem, but also added support for Altcoins. Altcoins has been hot for a minute. They are cooled down a little bit, but hey, if you want to swap for Altcoins, you could do so there. Also, you can earn Amber points, and Amber points are going to go towards some alpha associated with Sats Terminal. That's where I got to leave it, they say. And then also you can have a referral link. If you refer that out, and then someone else connects their wallet with your referral link, you'll get 500 Amber points. By the way, if you connect your own wallet, for the first time, you get 1,000 points there. So this is going to go away though very soon, so make sure you're taking advantage of that. It's going to go from 1,000 to 100, so it's going to go all the way down there. So check out Sats Terminal at satsterminal.com. Make sure you follow these guys on X, and then also head over to their Discord as well. And then BetBTC is the predictions marketplace for the Bitcoin ecosystem. I believe they just finished the Q1 payouts. I know it took a long time, guys. They're just getting through developing and a lot of stuff like that, but hang tight there. If you have any issues with that, reach out to their team. They will work that out for you. But really soon, you're going to be able to start seeing the features that we get to see, right? So you're going to be able to see stuff like create your own markets. You can earn up to 1.5% of the total volume there, and then also refer a friend. They have that as well. You can earn 1% of their total volume. But right now, you can actually place bets in their predictions markets or their blitz markets, which is kind of like a perps and leverage kind of situation, to where you just take Bitcoin and you say you get 10 minutes to lock in a price, and you think it's going to go up or down, and then 10 more minutes to see if you won or lost. You get to do that with Bitcoin, Solana, or BNB. Pretty fun stuff over there, but be responsible. Head over to betbtc.win, dig into their docs, join their community, ask them any questions that you have there. And then Emblem Vault, our guy Adam McBride is partying up till 1 a.m. supposedly over there. But yeah, that team is amazing. They got Jake Gallen, the CEO, Adam McBride, OG over there as well. But you're going to soon be able to jump your ordinals from Bitcoin Layer 1 to Abstract to Merlin, Bitcoin Layer 2 to Base, eventually Solana. And you're going to be able to do that eventually, is what we're hearing, is with Agent Hustle. Agent Hustle is their AI agent that's gotten a lot of popularity on the Solana ecosystem, but they do have plans to integrate the Bitcoin tech stack. And once that happens, you're going to be able to do the vaulting and jumping and stuff with the assistance of Hustle. But for now, you can use Hustle to help you with research. If you guys do dabble in the Dante's realm of Inferno called Solana by meme trading, you got to do so with an assistant, and that's what Agent Hustle will do. You can use them right now to help you with research, to try to find tokens for you, those kind of things. It's free right now, but eventually they do have a business model involving, I believe, the Tensor token. So take advantage of it. You can get a preview right now, see if you like it. Don't forget they have their rune that's going to be coming out in September of this year as well. If you go to OpenSea and search Emblem Founder Vault, you can actually participate in a pre-sale for the rune. It is an ERC 721, so it's an NFT, but once they get to the TGE time, they will give you guys the instructions on how to get those runes into your Bitcoin wallet. And then Artura.finance, these guys are building the next generation perps and leverage DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. You're soon going to be able to trade synthetic versions of Dog Go to the Moon, Billion Dollar Cat, maybe Ordi and Sats as well. But you also are going to be able to participate in the tokens outside of the ecosystem, like Ethereum and Tau and, XRP, I believe that's going to be added as well. Let's say you don't want to participate in leverage trading. You're like, that's too risky for me. You can actually be a part of their community by providing liquidity, just kind of like what we talked about with Hyperliquid. You know, they're going to be building that liquidity so you can earn passively that way as well. I'd say first thing you need to do is head over to Artura.finance, get into their docs, go over to their Discord, join their community. Really, really awesome team over there that's really dedicated in building the best experience for you guys. So excited for them. And that is what they're about, guys. Next up, we got Fluid Tokens. These guys started on Cardano, UTXO Wizard devs. Every conference they have big news coming out. So we expect nothing but big news as they get worked back into their day-to-day next week, I would say. But they were the first to offer staking vaults on Bitcoin Layer 1. And if you did stake your dog over the moon, make sure you claim that, as it is claimable now. So you can actually get that back. And if you are a founder of an ordinal collection or a rune and you want a staking vault, first thing you got to do is head over to their Discord, ask them how to get started. They will ask you a couple questions and probably get you guys hooked up really quick. They have a team waiting on the Discord for you guys. They also have their aquarium product that's more probably familiarized with the Cardano side, but they're going to be integrating the Bitcoin wallet support too very soon. But you can actually earn Babel fees over there right now if you're a Cardano community member there. Check out their Discord, check out their website, fluidtokens.com, and you can actually check out the Bitcoin or Cardano side there. And then Tokyo Wallet is the smart multi-chain wallet that is built for currently Cardano and Bitcoin users. In the future, they will have more ecosystems, guys. These guys are building for user experience. So we need your feedback. Download this if you have an iPhone on the Apple App Store. If you have an Android on the Google Play Store, check it out. Let us know your feedback, and we'll let the team know. But right now, you can actually swap for runes directly on their app, their smart wallet app. They have partnered with Sats Terminal to make this possible, right? Also, you can find some alpha. You probably see us two on there, because if you go to the alpha section, there's YouTube videos. They're just really trying to bring it all into one place for you guys, right? So we believe in them. This team is awesome. You guys got to meet them when we did the blitz with them. But head over to Tokyo.io, dive into what they got as well. And then Merlin Chain, uniting Bitcoin strength with the power of AI with the Wizard AI 0.03 latest version that will guide you through the Bitcoin ecosystem. It can actually help you go to merlinchain.io, and you click on the stake side. You can actually stake for their POS proof of stake to help secure the chain with your Merlin Chain tokens. And you can earn currently, if you don't lock up for a certain period, 15% APR, which I think is pretty generous. And then for a lockup period, I think there's 6 months next week that's going to be open, and you can earn 45% APR there. So it's a pretty significant jump up. The difference is you will be locked in for 6 months. You got to make that adult decision for yourself. But the cool thing is you can actually take your earnings on a day-to-day basis from that 6 month lockup period. So really cool there. Yeah, and I would say follow Merlin Chain on X, because they are constantly dropping gold headlines talking about being added to Binance's perps, also Binance's alpha program, also partnering with the Wrap Bitcoin DAO. A lot of updates. They're making huge moves over there. And we know some builders that are building some really cool stuff that should be released in maybe like Q3 and Q4. So stay tuned, be updated, follow them on X. And lastly is our integrated partners, Jungle, which was formerly Foxy AI, building the metaverse on Bitcoin called the Bitverse, and their first-person shooter game called Cypher Striker. You can always try it out. We won't be live streaming in that until the team gives us a confirmation that they have all the updates for that. And then Ordinal Hive is the Ordinal aggregator marketplace. So what Sats Terminal is doing, Ordinal Hive is doing for Ordinal. So you're going to be able to find the cheapest Ordinals around at Ordinal Hive. And they have really cool Ordinal trading tools as well. So we thank all 193 of you guys for checking us out and hanging out with us for this hour, almost 2 hours.
Yeah, man, 100%. And Ordinals Chips posted something that's kind of funny. Do you care if I show it? Ordinals.
Yeah, we should probably put. Yeah, there he is. And so he always does this. Like he'll post a screenshot of me and put like a butterfly on my face or like some sort of. It's creative.
Why are you so mad at me? What did I do?
No, I think I was like scrunching up my face real quick because I had an itch.
It might even be something where like one of those apps or something where you can change someone's face. I don't know. But shout out to Ordinals Chips, man. Always keeping it funny.
Matt's real quick. He says get Hathbinger and Bunzi back on ASAP. More people needs to learn about beat blocks. Yeah, I heard that they had a pretty big presence at the conference, man. Yeah. Those guys are always invited, man. Those are our boys, so no problem getting them back on.
Yeah, 100%. Love Hathbinger, love Bunzi. I love what they're building with beat blocks as well. But if you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out OnChainRevolution.io, we have some of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just entering space, please send them our website. We really feel like it can help them get started and code up to where we are today. We have a brand new article just dropped, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Go Corporate. This is an amazing article, guys. Get in there, read this. Go read the past ones and send it to whoever that needs to catch up. You know, I have people in my DMs today asking me, do I got to buy a whole Bitcoin? And I'm just like, ugh. But yeah, definitely check out our articles here and I sent our website to that guy. And then if you guys need a VPN, Nord is my personal favorite. I actually have 2 Nord accounts. Each account gets you about 5 computers. You know, you probably don't need to, but I just like to set it and forget it and just leave it there. It's so cheap though. It's like, I think I paid like $33 for the year. It's $3 a month. So I don't mind just locking in for 2 years, pay the $66, forget about it. And then every time I log on my computer, I know it's set to the VPN that I want it to be set on. I don't got to worry about making sure it's pressed in or disconnecting one and adding one. It's cheap enough just to have 2 accounts, in my opinion. But that's what I do. But you probably don't need 5, more than 5, right? It's actually probably perfect for you just to have the one. So definitely check out everything here for the NordVPN. And if you're in Vegas, probably don't buy these tickets because it is the day. You should probably just go to the side events, but we do have the tickets available. And then if you guys need merch for the next event next year or whatever, get your merch now, guys. We're gonna be adding some pretty amazing stuff coming up this next couple of months. But check out everything here at OnChainRevolution.io. And guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. Until tomorrow.
Peace.
OnChain Revolution roll call. Market recap. You're not bullish enough. No. You're not bullish enough. No. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear tracks. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and arching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. OnChain Revolution.